Left jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you kinda star. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best, you gotta show me son. Actions over words, baby boy, is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
Once again, you're tuned in to World Combat Sports. Salute to everyone on this Tuesday, man. You know what it is. To the supporters, man, that rock with the channel and everything like that. I appreciate you. Big salute. Continue to support the channel, man. Pass the word, get the subs. You know what I'm saying? All that good stuff. Appreciate y'all for rocking with the channel. WCS Media on deck. I'm just gonna let y'all, just take a little bit, stare at that thumbnail just a minute. And then you know how I do it, man. I'm gonna break this down most eloquent way possible. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to seduce this mic a little bit because Deontay Wilder, WBC Deontay Bronze Bomber Wilder, is on the thumbnail. May 25th, Dos Cincos, 2022, 2 p.m., Tuscaloosa. They unveiling the statue for the goddamn champ, man. They unveiling the Deontay Wilder statue. You know what? It looks just like him, too. So obviously they had to talk to the man ahead of time, make sure this was perfecto. ¿Entiendes, amigos? Sí. ¿Comprende? They had to make sure all of this was correct, man. Man, I'm very, very happy to know that the recognition is finally, touching down. You know what I'm saying? The recognition out there, they identified him for what he was able to do in the heavyweight division. You know what I'm saying? Be a showman. Compete at the highest pinnacle. One of the only of this era to have a trilogy with the top two heavyweight in the game. They have a trilogy together. A trilogy, y'all. Bring excitement. That's what Deontay Wilder was able to do when he was on deck. We always said what it was. They weren't going to appreciate Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder till he was out the sport. And what has the heavyweight division been without the Bronze Bomber? A firecracker in the rain. No lighter. For real. A firecracker in the rain. No lighter. That's what the heavyweight division's been without Deontay Wilder. The only unfortunate part about the Bronze Bomber is that he chose to step in the ring with the other top heavyweight. So it was nobody else for him to fight that would have gave him what he was able to give to the heavyweight division in boxing. He fought the man. Wilder fought the man. They're basically doing a statue unveiling over there in this Tuscaloosa, Alabama, man, which is absolutely grand. Absolutely grand, man. They recognizing the best heavyweight of this era. Absolute grand, man. They have to show love and appreciation once you face adversity. You know what I'm saying? Tyson Fury just knocked out Dillian White, and nobody's talking about it. Nobody's even talking about what he did. The only shine, the most magnification that we can provide Tyson Fury was when he was linked up to Deontay Wilder when they were stepping into the ring. That is the most highlight that Tyson Fury has ever gotten. So it holds true, man. We congratulate you, with the preamble that you finally getting recognized, man, for your hard work and dedication to this sport as an Olympian, as an individual who didn't have an extensive pedigree, but we all know the backstory to that, all the way up to this point where you're sitting at 42-2. You know what I'm saying? We all know what it used to be. We already know what it used to be. You know what I'm saying? What individuals can come in here like a monster like yourself and drop all the men that have ever stepped and touched gloves with you in the ring? Man, come on, man. That's legendary, dog. Let me get to these chats. Man. I be who I be. What's good with it? Debbie says, what up? What up with you? Charlotte 24 on deck. Salute to you. Jay on deck. What's good, man? Leroy. Bomb Squad. What's good? Shelton Moore. Wilder's getting a statue. Great. Hey, it was a time and place when, we was waiting for the next heavyweight, to step in the ring, and that heavyweight was the name Deontay Wilder. We knew he was going to give a highlight reel knockout. And, having the pleasure of seeing him in action, you know what I'm saying, several times over, seeing how it actually looks when you in person and you see him land that punch, that right hand, and see how explosive it is once it makes contact with the target. That's history, man. That's something special. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's probably plenty of people that was in the Barclays. We all felt that we got knocked out too when he touched up Dominique Brazil. You know what I'm saying? We probably all felt like we needed an 8 count. For real. For real. And that's just right after he sent a 3-punch combination. Dominique Brazil smiled at him. He felt, I'm good. And then all of a sudden, he hit Deontay behind the head. The referee break the action. And then he came back around and he sent the left, blinding him, shut his lights out with the right. I mean, it was so tough, dog. This shit was like crazy. Dominique Brazil is not a small dude. You know what I'm saying? He's not a small dude. When that right hand hit him, man, timber. Let me tell you, bro. It's a lot of people that was watching that fight had thought they got concussed too. To this day, they still think they have CTE from that fight. Velocity Cuts on deck. What's good? Well-deserved statue. He brought back excitement to the heavyweight division. Yeah, man, for sure, man. Absolutely, he did. The heavyweight division. Look, first of all, let me acknowledge the fact that when Deontay Wilder was an active heavyweight champion, it wasn't a week that goes by that his name wasn't the topic of the conversation. Even when the man was out of the ring from taking his loss from Tyson Fury and they was in court, people was talking about this man. They wanted to hear what he had to say. That's how important he was to the sport of boxing. That's how important he was to the sport of boxing, man. It used to be a conversation about Deontay Wilder, whether it's good or bad. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's good or bad. They say if they talking about you, you should appreciate it. If they ain't, then you should be concerned. They was talking about the champ. I mean, it was some nasty lives on here now. It was some nasty freaking lives. It was some long conversations, panels that went on for hours, debate after debate after debate. You know what I'm saying? It seems like yesterday, doesn't it? That they was trying to pretend like they was going to make Tyson Fury Anthony Joshua. when they was in court, when Wilder was in court for that arbitration. And then when it finally came out, their heart was broken because they thought they was just going to push the champ to the side and not, have an undisputed, and he don't have the opportunity to fight for a trilogy. It didn't work. You gotta basically, send him his flowers and recognize the fact that he stood up for what he believed in. He believed he should fight the best. You know what I'm saying? He believed that. And, Tyson Fury and him had a memorable trilogy. And unfortunately, Tyson Fury ended up winning it, in the interim. He won the rematch in the trilogy. But when it boils down to it, the excitement factor, the prize fighting effect that happened with Deontay Wilder when he was on deck as an active fighter may be returning, y'all. They're unveiling the statue, and I got some more news to you. Let me get to this chat. Done shot at 24. Salute with it. Appreciate you supporting the channel, my brother. Fury know he need Wilder. Can't wait for Wilder to return. He will be champ again, undisputed. Talk to him, Shotter. Coming in here with the shot. Talk to him, dog. Look, Deontay Wilder about to take back over the airwaves, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind talking about my boy Crawford. I don't mind talking about, Crawford. I don't. I don't mind talking about Jahad Tucker, Michael Williams Jr. I don't mind talking about, the Teofimo Lopez's, Shakur Stevenson's. Even Stephen Fulton, man. Doing good things, man. Solid, unified champion. We cannot forget Cool Boy Steph. But right now, this is strictly about the heavyweight king out of Tuscaloosa, shouty. He may be about to return. It's talk. It's rumor mill out here in the media airwaves. And we're going to get to that. But, man, shout out to Don Shallow. Let me read his super chat. Once more, Fury know he need Wilder. Once again, Fury know he need Wilder. Can't wait for Wilder to return. He will be champ again, undisputed. I'm going to let that sit up there and marinate so that shit can just, drip on you right quick. You know what I'm saying? Just like it's about to start raining. You got to wipe your forehead a little bit. You have to look up in the sky and say, damn, what's going on, man? What's going on with this weather? The Bronze Bomber heading back to the rain. King Mitch on deck with it. What's good? Shouts to Wilder statue at the crib. A big deal. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Brazil's soul still ain't returned to his body after that KO. You're right, man. Because we saw him go in there with Otto Wallin. Man, he looked like crap. And look at this shot. He had Abel Sanchez in his corner. I was like, what in the Sam Hill is this? But man, I'm happy for the champ to be, getting this award. It's much deserving. This shit is much deserving, man. I know some people don't want to consider it as important as I do, but when it comes down to what he was able to accomplish, what he attempted to challenge himself for, it's respectable. What he attempted was going there with the best heavyweight, that everybody was saying that's, hey, it's you and him. 1 and 2, 2-1, whatever you want to say, it's just you and him. And after coming off that tough stoppage and hearing what I heard on the punishment that he took, this man actually went back to court to deal with months and months of arbitration. And he wanted to get in there for a trilogy. You can never say Deontay Wilder lack heart. You know what I'm saying? You can never say he lacks heart. Never. You can never say he lacked heart. They always say he lacked technique, but he had 41 knockouts. You know what I'm saying? You can never say the man lacks heart. That can never be a topic of this discussion where you have anyone on the panel to say, well, I wish he would have had a little bit more heart. He had heart, man. He was mad that he wasn't allotted the opportunity to go out on the shield in a rematch and then came back in for a trilogy. Some changes was made. Whether they was good or bad, I don't know exactly what the changes was. He did look bigger. I think he came in his 230s. And of course, Tyson Fury was big already. And, he ended up getting stopped again. But ultimately, as a man, I think Deontay Wilder, he wanted to do it on his own terms. You feel me? Like Deontay wanted to do this shit on his own terms, man. And he did. DBMH on deck with it. Was good. He wanted to do this on his own terms, and it happened. It wasn't with his hands raised, but I feel deep down inside that he felt that Tyson Fury did try to cause him harm. You know what I'm saying? Deep down inside, he did have some, some personal issues and concerns when it came to Tyson Fury. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and say, I hope they reconcile and one day, they can appreciate and respect each other's company. That's not for me to do, man, because in boxing, everything that was a part of that rematch that could have left him in a wheelchair if it was, if it was that bad. He could have been like the Pritchard Colognes and the Jerry McLeans. He could have been a whole different person where instead of him taking care of his family potentially would have had to take care of him. Then it would have been such a struggle. You have the breadwinner, the primary breadwinner, the man that's making multi-millions in front of the, under the bright lights, big stage, and then he gets injured. So much to the fact that he had to take that time off for life. He wasn't able to compete no more. That could have been the results. And the good thing about it wasn't. Boxing is a tough sport. The champ mentioned it all the time that the head is not supposed to be hit. Now we're at a point where what's next? What's next for Deontay Wilder? Well, what's next? He's showing up May 25th for that goddamn statue unveiling, dog. You know what I'm saying? That's what's next. That's good news, man. That's real good news for the statue unveiling, man. Because he's earned it. He showed that he was a warrior. I told people that there's no way that Deontay Wilder wasn't coming back to the sport. I told everyone, that was sitting up here talking about, oh, he's done, he's retiring. What the hell he go over there and find out what tribe he was from? No, man, you're not going to just bail out like that and retreat and be a coward to a lot of people's narratives that say, oh, you let Tyson Fury run you out of the sport. I just don't see him that type of person. I've just never seen him as that type of person. You know what I'm saying? So Mauricio Suleiman has said he wants a WBC tourney to determine a new heavyweight champion. And we all know that heavyweight champion sanctioned body when it comes to Mauricio Suleiman is the WBC, World Boxing Council. All right. It goes on to say, article Boxing News 24, the number one contender in the WBC heavyweight ranking is ex-champion Deontay Bronze Bomber Wilder, who is coming off an 11-round knockout loss to Fury last October. It is unknown why the WBC still has a 6'7" Deontay Wilder ranked number one, given that he lost his last two fights. Hey, I can tell you why they got him ranked number one. Like I said, there's been a firecracker in the ring with no lighter. The heavyweight division haven't been anything without Deontay Wilder since he left. Nothing. Dillian White talked and called that man all sorts of cowards for months and years and years and years. He talked about how he was done wrong and he want to fight this and that. He's supposed to be the WBC, and he finally gets his opportunity. He gets his opportunity in an 80-20 split, and he doesn't show up to the first presser, and then he shows up with black gloves on like he's here to collect the debt. He damn near becomes part of a box. He damn near became a project for the mortician. Damn near. But I would give Dillian White, whatever he did, he stepped in the ring. For all that time, you had people talking about with Tyson Fury. You had him linking up with Dillian White. Man, Anthony Joshua for years. For years. That conversation is just like Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence. Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua is that fight that people still want to see, even if Deontay Wilder has 2 losses. You know why? Because Anthony Joshua has 2 losses. Both of them don't have any belts right now. It would be great to see Anthony Joshua in the tourney. Hear me out now. You know damn well it'd be good to see Anthony Joshua in the tourney. It's unclear where a tournament will benefit the World Boxing Council's bottom line. It says Suleiman tournament idea might be a little premature because Fury, 32-0, won 23 knockouts, still hasn't vacated the WBC heavyweight title. And he may have been playing a game and talking about retiring. That's true. Fury, you can't believe too much of what he says. But one thing we do know, he's proven that he's the number 1 heavyweight champion right now. He's proven it. He beat Deontay Wilder twice, and he beat the next contender that was in line. We can't say Anthony Joshua because Anthony Joshua, he lost to Alexander Usyk. All right? And we can't put Alexander Usyk as that guy because, we're trying to see if he's going to be able to defend his belts against Anthony Joshua. You know what I'm saying? We always have to look at that. Tyson Fury now has that bragging rights that he defended the WBC title. Before, he never defended the title. Then he had the opportunity. He successfully defended his WBC title. So you got to give him the check mark on that. It says, certainly, WBC President Mauricio Suleiman said to Sky Sports about Deontay Wilder being in contention to fight for the heavyweight belt if Tyson Fury retires, because he is the number 1 ranked contender in the division. I spoke to him a couple of months ago. He is doing great, and he is looking forward to resuming his career. Now, I want you to pay close attention to what I just read, because when I was saying he was coming back to the sport, people was treating it like it was a foreign goddamn disease. You know what I'm saying? Like it was xenophobia. He said, I spoke to him a couple of months ago. He is doing great, and he is looking forward to resuming his boxing career. What was I saying a couple of months ago? I was saying he was returning back to the sport of boxing a couple of months ago. As a fighter, as a black man who went over there, it's just certain things that you have to, jump outside your common sense, okay? And use your God-gifted brain that you was blessed with, that to a healthy individual, and it can operate pretty damn efficiently. The man went over there and he stood up for his people. He's talked about, certain things that he didn't like. For a man to go through the dramatics, the trials and tribulations, the losses to Tyson Fury, a person that he despised, you think he's just going to let that be the red on his record on his way out the door, all because he has monetary stability? No, man. I tell my people this all the time, man, get off that money shit. Yeah, he earned money, but then we always talking about how prideful we are. Well, what the hell you think Deontay Wilder is? He's prideful too. He's going to be proud when he's getting that statue unveiled because he know what he went through to get it. He's going to be hella prideful. So we think he's just going to leave them 2 losses on there and never return to the sport? Hell no, bro. Mitch say D White he was complaining that Fury pushed him after the uppercut. He was already out. Hey, Mitch, I'm going to be honest with you, man. Dillian White has legitimate complaint, man. There's no solace when in your heart of hearts, something that you're defending is right. There's no way, shape, or form that I'm sitting up here advocating for that. But he did push him. Just think about being hurt. What happens when a fighter leans on top of a fighter? Or when a fighter pushes, the fighter hit the canvas after a fighter pushed him? Well, the referee waves it off, right? Waves it off. It's not a knockdown. It's not a knockout unless you Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury hit the man, pushed him, blatantly pushed him, and the referee acted like he didn't see the shit. So that's the only thing. I cannot sit up here and talk too much on Dillian White because this is a Deontay Wilder moment. See, I had to get that moment of silence to separate that conversation. This is a Deontay Wilder moment. They're unveiling a statue in his regard. They always say recognition, dedication, hard work, right? Some people just don't get this opportunity. You know, they might get a key to the city. You know what I'm saying? They might get some Groupons, or they may get them some free comp tickets. But have a statue that's going to be in the heart of it all. You know what I'm saying? The way you at, Tuscaloosa. That's a big deal, you know. And he say it's going to be there where, you know, you can drive and you can see the statue. I mean, listen, that's a big deal. A statue. They're unveiling a statue for you in your hometown. That's huge, man. That's very significant. Yeah, you earned it through the blood, sweat, and tears. You earned that shit. You made your millions. You know what I'm saying? You changed the boxing game. You go down in history as one of the best heavyweights to ever do it. Now, where you reside at, man, they unveiling a statue in your honor. Now you become the honored. It took you to lose twice and take a hiatus out the sport to become honored. You know, it happens in life. Nobody knows why. Nobody knows why good bows before evil. You know, it's hard to just like recognize somebody when they're at the top of, you know, when they're at the top of the pinnacle. You know what I'm saying? To recognize them and say, you know what? You undefeated right now. You done knocked out everybody you stepped in the ring with. We're gonna unveil a statue for you because you deserve that. No talk of it. No talk of it, dog. You know what I'm saying? Defending your titles the 11th time you stepped in there with Fury when you took that loss. You know what I'm saying? Reigning over 5 years. Man, come on with it now. My second super chat. That's my fault, Shot. That's my fault, big dog. You know what? I saw it and I thought it was your other one. That's my fault, man. Fury ain't vacate either. I think we getting a fourth fight. What? Boxing slowly correcting itself. Look at Canelo and his team. And once again, big shout out to Don Shotter 24, man. Thanks for the super chat, big dog, and thanks for the awareness. Real talk, man. Because sometimes, you know, I'm up here reading. I'll be on another damn page, you know, reading an article and talking and multitasking. But big shout out to Don Shotter, man. 24 in the building with the second super chat, man. I appreciate you. Thanks for the support, man. The article goes on to say, let me scroll down a little bit. Wilder said he wanted to take a mental trip to decide whether to continue his career, but he's not yet revealed this decision. See, y'all remember me doing a live on this. I said, you know what? I go over there. I don't need anything. I go over there. You know, you want to, you know, go on your ayahuasca. You know what I'm saying? You want to go on the ayahuasca and go through the psychedelic, you know, spiritual process and see how that works out for you. That it will be very, very interesting. You know what I'm saying? To take that trip. And I would recommend going to the rainforest where it's not anything like, you know, being back in Garrison. You know what I'm saying? Being in the city, you're basically putting yourself in a desolate. You're isolated from all your friends, and besides who else gonna be there with you, and you get to go to where it all started. Sometimes it's better to go where you know they have the real shamans, and you get to experience the real psychedelics that they make from scratch. I mean, that's just me. And then the mosquitoes, the mosquitoes gonna help you with your psychedelic, because when you be trying to goddamn zone out, they're gonna be eating your ass alive out there, man. Mosquitoes, nobody said they was off limits. Shoot, when you get put in the when you take those psychedelics, mosquitoes gonna get psychedelic too, for real. It said we have 1 year to have the next mandatory fight. Suleiman said. At this moment, he will wait for the decision of Tyson Fury, and then we will either do a series of fight, a boxing tournament, going into a final elimination. But at this time, we're going to wait because we don't know the specific circumstances, and that goes back to Shadow 24, right? You have to take it into consideration that what if boxing is always up here trying to put surprises, man. Now that shit is huge. Like that's so far off the edge, in my opinion. A fourth battle that doesn't happen. I'm not saying people don't fight 4 times. I'm saying in this case where you have a trilogy and Tyson Fury has won 2 of those, but yet Mauricio Suleiman is signifying and what he's clarifying really that is really no definitive word on Tyson Fury is going to retire or not. So they have to wait. But what I'm going to do? I have to talk about moving forward. I have to talk about the potential that he put out there as far as the competitors. And y'all tell me what you think. Do you think Shot of 24 is right? It might be a 4th one on deck that we don't know about, or due to this article, Boxing News, it said thus far we haven't heard Fury say anything. It goes on to say potential options for the WBC tourney. It has Deontay Wilder, Joe Joyce, Joseph Parker, and Frank Sanchez, and Andy Ruiz. What do y'all think about those names? Drop your input in the chat, man. What you think about these five names right here? Deontay Wilder, Joe Joyce, Joseph Parker, Frank Sanchez, Andy Ruiz. I'm pretty sure Deontay Wilder will get a bye in this tournament since he's the number 1. I think he might just have to fight damn near the finalists. If he's number 1, we should have Andy Ruiz. I say Andy Ruiz fight Joseph Parker, because Joseph Parker is a common opponent of Anthony Joshua. And put Frank Sanchez in there with Joe Joyce. And then the winner face one another. And then they face Deontay Wilder. The final man standing face Deontay Wilder. Because you do have 2 champions on this list anyway. 2 former champions. You have Andy Ruiz and Joseph Parker. Deontay Wilder is a former champion now. I'm just saying you do have 2 other former champions. Joseph Parker, Andy Ruiz. So, it is what it is, man. I know this is not anything that's ironed out and solid, it's set in stone, but that's interesting, man. That's very interesting. Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more on deck with it. What's good, OG? How you feeling? He says, salute, Scotty. Salute to you, man. I'm curious, I don't see, I'm serious. My optics is not telling me mentally that anybody in that WBC would schedule a 4th fight after Deontay Wilder lost via knockout. I can't foresee that at all. I can't sit up here and foresee that at all. It makes to be clear, there's Charlotte, it makes no sense to boxing. Even look, even though they are the biggest names, and Deontay Wilder still ranked number one, it makes no sense to bring him back for a fourth one after what Tyson Fury was able to do the last two fights of their trilogy. It makes no sense, man. I'm gonna be honest. I would definitely like to see him fight somebody fresh because nobody on this list that he's fought in the professional ranks. Nobody. He hasn't fought Andy Ruiz, Frank Sanchez, Joseph Parker, Joe Joyce. So hell yeah, I would like to see him fight. One of those guys. I don't want to see him fight Tyson Fury no more because he gets nothing from it. He gets nothing from it. Like, I know it's a belt, but I'm just saying, who wants to try to plan a fight with a guy, a champion, who's defeated Deontay twice? I don't want to see that. I want to see him, step in there with somebody new that's trying to get that title. They should be hungry, and see what happens, bro. That's all I can say. That's all I can say on that. Y'all hold on for a second, right quick. Y'all hold on for a second. Now tell me this: who would y'all want him to see? I mean, if he has to take a fight before the final, who would y'all like to see him in there with first on this return? Because any one of them four names are legit opponents. You know what I'm saying? Even with the losses, they're legit opponents. Frank Sanchez, man, say what you want. Joe Joyce, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Joseph Parker, Andy Ruiz, they legit opponents, man. Who would y'all like to see Deontay Wilder fight first? Let me know. I need to know. Who will make the tournament interesting? Come on, man. Let me know what's up. Who will make the tournament interesting? Joe Joyce, Joseph Parker, Frank Sanchez, or Andy Ruiz. Let me know. Who would y'all like to see Deontay Wilder come back to the sport to fight? Because I know it's like this, right? With this news coming out about them unveiling the statue and everything, I know there's going to be certain voices that are pretty much going to speak fondly of it. You know what I'm saying? They're going to let their voices be heard. And then there's other voices that's going to be pretty much quiescent when it comes down to it. You know what I'm saying? Because they all about whispering the success of Deontay Wilder, but they screaming his failures. That's just the way of life, like I told you. But you can guarantee this: when they drive through Tuscaloosa, though, they're gonna see that big ass statue of that 6'7". Statue is probably way bigger than the natural what they call it what they call that, not the composition, but when they mold, let's call it the mold, the natural mold that they do. They're gonna put the statue up higher, so he might be 6'7" or whatever, but the statue should be like 7 feet. You know what I'm saying? The statue should be like 7 feet tall and shit, man. The statue is not going to be the same height. In my opinion, it shouldn't be. Your statue should be much more imposing effigy when people pull up and say, God damn, what the fuck is that? Oh, that's Deontay Wilder. Okay, that shit should be imposing when you drive into the town where it's at. They should already know what it is. I just hope it's in a place where, people are not going to try to damage it, or, someone is easy to get in, for a vehicle to run into it. Because it's Alabama now. We can't fool ourselves. It's Alabama at the end of the day. And they see that black statue going up there in Alabama. They're going to say, God damn, we have a lot more to deal with down here. We got that Alabama road tide. They don't have no goddamn statue of all the players that's been down here. This Alabama made that team good, what it is. Shit. God damn it, they'll put goddamn Wilder up here. For what? Who approved it? They start going to the city hall on that. I want to know who voted. Man, but on the 25th, man, shout out to you, champ. Shit, I don't know what your speech gonna be, but I know you're gonna pretty much talk the way you always do. You're gonna drop that delivery on them, and you're gonna let them know what's on your mind. And the only thing I can say is, we want you back in the ring, of course, to see you compete. Hopefully Mauricio Suleiman wasn't just, overreaching with, saying he spoke to him, and he pretty much mentioned that he can't wait to get to the ring. I believe the champ is going to be back. He's going to be back to the ring, man. I don't think he's that type of person. I don't think he's mentally in reverse right now to flee from something that, he competed most of his life. Just want to flee the scene. And the last person on his resume to enforce that was Tyson Fury. I don't think he's that guy. I don't think he's that man in general. So we just got to let the damn hourglass keep, flipping itself over, seeing what the time tells us. Let these moons come and go, and see when we get the news that, the champ is returning back to the sport, and see who he's fighting. I wouldn't mind seeing him in there with Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce is damn near in the same age as Deontay Wilder, right? Younger. So Joe Joyce in his 30s. Joseph Parker. I'm just trying to get somebody with a name. Like, the biggest name, in my opinion, out of the four outside of Deontay Wilder, I would say Joe Joyce. Why? Because we all know Frank Sanchez, man. Come on, man. We done heard that shit. Frank Sanchez, man, you want to go over there and you want to run around and box on the outside. I mean, nobody's trying to give you that invitation to come back and fight the champ. Andy Ruiz, there's been a lot of talk about, people want Andy Ruiz to come back and be the opponent that Deontay Wilder faced. I have no problem with that, except looking at him being dropped by Chris Arreola. I don't know what's going on with Andy Ruiz. Like, has he not learned how to put down Snicker bars? Like, what's going on? Does he still have that drive to make it back to the top? I don't know. But, a lot of people want to see Andy Ruiz step in there. I have no idea, man. Y'all let me know. I just want to see him go in there with a competitive opponent. I think Joe Joyce, height-wise, athleticism, will be the toughest out of everyone. In my opinion, he would be the toughest. He would be the toughest, in my opinion, man. You know what I'm saying? We know he got that jab, but, Daniel Dubois is not a Deontay Wilder. Let's get that straight. And Dubois, he's sitting up here talking about he want to call out this, that, and the other. We ain't trying to hear that shit. We just trying to talk about who we want to see Deontay Wilder come back to the square and face up against when he returns. So let me help y'all out, man. Nobody's dropping anything in the super chat, so let me keep it moving and gotta help y'all out. I have to go over here. Let's pull up heavyweight rankings. Okay. Deontay Wilder, 42, 2-1, 41 knockouts. Impressive. Age 36. He fought last year, October 9th, 2021. And he was stopped in the 11th round. Previous to that, they fought February 2020, which was pre-pandemic. And, we all know Tyson Fury was able to get the stoppage in the 7th round. Now, moving forward, Deontay Wilder hasn't fought since then, and he's still ranked number 1 in the WBC rankings. Number 2 is Joe Joyce. Number 3 is Joseph Parker. Number 4 is Frank Sanchez, and number 5 is Andy Ruiz. So when it boils down to it, all they doing is taking the top 5. But I'm wondering, right? I'm very curious as to why Luis Ortiz is not somewhere close to this talk. You know what I'm saying? Dillian White, I have no idea why he's in front of Luis Ortiz. I don't understand that, because the last time I checked, Luis Ortiz, he's 33 and 2, but he is 43 years old. Contrary to popular belief, people saying he's 63. You know what I'm saying? But we know he had his fight with Charles Martin, and he went through some adversity early on in the fight, but he ended up stopping him in the 6th round. His only 2 losses is to the bronze bomber himself, Deontay Wilder. So in my question, why is Dillian White, who has became the heavyweight Jorge Linares, why are you in front of Luis Ortiz? Why? Joshua knock you out. Povetkin knock you out. Tyson Fury knock you out. Why is he sitting at number 8? I mean, number 7. And Luis Ortiz is number 8. I don't get that. And then after Luis Ortiz is Tony Yoka. And number 10 is Otto Wallin. And then you have some hitters that's going to be future of the sport sooner or later. You know what I'm saying? You have the Robert Helenius. We all know that dude's, he owns some other shit. Robert Helenius, he's there for a reason. Then you have Michael Hunter, Philippe Herkovic, Ajit Caballero, and Marbacoli. You know the ranking system, how they go, man. I would like to see Luis Ortiz up in there, not Dillian White. And Makhmudov, his name is not going to do anything. It's in a tournament, so it don't matter. His name is in a tournament, so it really don't matter about ticket sales and all that shit. It's a tournament. Just like we used to see the WBSS, the Super 6, all that shit. It's a tournament. I'm not trying to see Otto Wallin at all. Tony Yoka, man, come on, stop it. I like to see Robert Helenius, though. Robert Helenius, Michael Hunter, Philippe Herkovic. There's a lot of hype behind Herkovic, too. It's a lot of hype. You have the only American heavyweight champ, and Trevor Bryan. Trevor Bryan is set to face Daniel Dubois coming up, the number 1 contender for the WBA regular title. You know what I'm saying? In WBA. So he's fighting Trevor Bryan, who's the WBA regular heavyweight champion. He's still a world champion, though. But what a lot of people are not talking about is Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua sitting at number 5. He still has a rematch with Oleksandr Usyk. Number 5 at WBA. IBF, he's sitting at number 4. And the WBO, he's sitting at number 4 also. He's nowhere close to that WBC. Anyway, that was just a little bit for y'all. That's all. Because Oleksandr Usyk, he's not going to be nowhere close to the proximity anytime soon. His calendar definitely is Anthony Joshua. We don't know what's going on with that. Like I said before, when Deontay Wilder left the scene, oh, it's over. Like it's almost like an empty warehouse, isn't it? It's just like driving through some parts of Gaston. I ain't gonna lie, dog. It's so many business was shut down. I was like, what the hell? Did I make a wrong turn or something? I had to go knock on some windows. Anybody home? I mean, shit. I still saw, old candy bars and shit. I don't know what was going on with that, but I dropped out for a good second. Damn. Hold on for a second. But yeah, as I was saying, man, I don't know who they're gonna put in the tournament. It all depends, of course. But if you're gonna do it, especially with Deontay Wilder returning back to the game, you want to make it somebody that's just gonna give that have that attention gainer. You know what I'm saying, to break the ice. It's not like he ain't been out the sport before. Like, let's be honest. He took some months off. He was in court doing his thing, with the arbitration. So he's been out the sport, and then that was coming off a loss too. So it's not different, but this one specifically is that he's returning off his second straight loss ever. You know what I'm saying? Because he was undefeated before Tyson Fury. Ever. He's coming off his second straight loss ever. So it needs to be somebody that's just gonna give that twinkle. You know what I'm saying? Get the fans perked up a little bit. Give us something to say, damn, that's gonna be a 50-50 fight. That's gonna be pretty tough for Wilder coming back. Okay, all right. Let's see if he still got what he got, this, that, and the other. It doesn't have to be somebody extremely tough on the way back. Even in myself, I'll be honest with you, like a tournament. We've been talking about tournaments forever. Now all of a sudden they want to do a heavyweight tournament. We've been talking about tournaments forever. I mean, that shit's done popped up in conversation forever and a day. Like, man, we should have tournaments. And now they want to come up with a tournament based off one name that's talking about retiring. What happened to just vacating the belt and have two people fight for it? He could vacate the belt and then have Deontay Wilder fight. If you're number one contender, select a contender, have a title eliminator, have one of those four guys fight for it, and then the winner face Deontay Wilder. Why you gotta have a tourney? That's all I'm saying. Why they gotta have a tournament? It does nothing for me in that perspective. We do have some fights coming up that's supposed to be pretty decent. You know what I'm saying? People talking about it every now and then. You know how boxing is. I'm gonna be honest with you. You know how boxing is, bro. Like the ebbs and flows of boxing. You know how it is, man. You know how it is. We have David Benavidez, man, coming up. And David Lemieux. We also have June 7. We have Nonito Donaire going against Naoya Inoue. And then we have May 17. I mean, not May 17. We have May 28. Devontae Davis and Rolando Romero. They had open workouts today. And then you haven't heard the Tevin Farmer and Mickey Bay fight has been postponed. If y'all didn't know. But until next time, man, y'all hold it down. Appreciate y'all pulling up. Check out the IG. I just came back from covering a big amateur fight over there at Huntsville, South Carolina. Shout out to One More Round Boxing. It was great covering them amateurs. Most of the pics are on Facebook. I dropped some that I touched up a little bit on IG, but I'm gonna drop some Facebook links over there on IG, so y'all can just check out the links yourselves. But man, shout out to One More Round Boxing. On the Marine Corps Hall of Fame. Larry Frazier himself had the chance to chop it up with the former WBO heavyweight champion Ray Mercer and the former WBC light heavyweight champion JB Williamson. Shout out to Lee that was out there. Shout out to all the other cats. It was a good time, man, up in South Carolina. Shot the whole fight. I think it was it turned out to be 15 or 16 fights on the card. I shot the whole fight card, the whole event. You know what I'm saying? By myself. So I already went through and did what I had to do with the pictures, separated what I wanted to separate. It was 8,000 plus stills that I had to go through with these cats. But they're the young warriors in the game, man. They appreciate the pictures, I'm sure. And they get to keep it moving. But man, until next time, man, y'all turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports. I'm